All right, so for today's bell ringer, this is Wednesday, January 20th. You're going to write down the last three things you recently purchased and classify each as a need or a want. Obviously, you're going to be doing this in your guided notes. So if you haven't already, pause this video, open up your guided notes, and get started. You're going to talk about the needs that you have, which things to be classified as needs, which would be basic requirements for survival, clothes, shelter, etc. And wants, obviously, you know what the word want means. It's that not that you need something, but that you would like to have it, that it would make your life feel better in some way. But a lot of times in economics, when we talk about needs versus wants, we're going to be very specific here in terms of if you need something, it is a requirement for survival. And if you want something, it's going to be in terms of everything else. Everything else is going to be a want. Sometimes we're going to define the want as a means of expressing a need. So, what might that mean? Well, you might say something like, I need food and I want to go to Rick Irwin Steakhouse. Well, you don't need to go to Rick Irwin Steakhouse. You could have that basic requirement for food that really in a lot of different ways. But the way you express that need is by telling me where you want to go for dinner. You need clothes, okay, but you don't need those new Jordans. Those Jordans would be a want, which would be a need, means of expressing a need. Yes, you need shoes, but they don't have to be Jordans, right? You need shelter, but you don't need to buy that new house. That new house is a want. I talked yesterday about how I want to move from Anderson to Greenville. Well, I can't just trick myself into pretending that buying this new house in Greenville is going to be me buying something that's a need. I don't need it because I could stay in a lot of different places. But I want to buy a house and I want to live in Greenville. And so that would be classified as a want. So if you haven't done so already, pause this video and write down the last three things you recently purchased and classify each as a need or as a want. So the first thing we're going to do today is we're going to watch a quick refresher of yesterday's topic. So this is the fundamental problem facing all societies.
Economics is a social science that's going to look at how we as a society allocate our scarce resources to satisfy our human needs and wants. And we have unlimited needs and wants that are always competing to use these scarce resources. We're going to be looking at a ton of different things throughout this course. We'll be getting into micro and macro, we'll get into personal finance, and the fundamentals, which is this video. And our fundamental economic problem is simple. It's scarcity. Think about it. Are you satisfied right now with where you are in life? Are you like, yep, I'm good. I don't need to buy anything else? If you said yes, you are a liar. Because no one's satisfied ever. We always want more. And we always need more too. Just even food and water, we need more of it to survive. And that is our fundamental economic problem. It is scarcity. Because of scarcity, we have to make decisions on a day-to-day basis. Do I want to buy a giant home or do I want a tiny home? Do I want to hang out with my friends tonight and go to the movies, or should I study for my test tomorrow? Time itself is the scarcity that we have, and we have to make choices. We only have so much of it. Do I want to spend my money on that new video game, or should I save it for college? What should I do? All of these are because of scarcity. Economics is a social science.
All right. So a lot of times, needs versus wants can be a difficult thing for us to understand. And one of the reasons is that advertisers present wants as needs in order to confuse us. And they do that because we get this natural sense that it's okay to spend our money on things that we need, but it's not okay to spend our money on things that we want. And so sometimes if I'm selling a product and I can make you believe that you need the product when actually you just want the product, it's going to remove something from your mind that's going to inhibit you from buying that product. So maybe what I do is I create some sort of advertisement or commercial or something, and I'm going to blur the lines between a need and a want. And when we get to personal finance, we're going to talk about needs and wants a little bit differently. In personal finance, I'm going to be accepting of the fact that you say, well, I need a cell phone, because in reality, in 2021, you do need a cell phone. It is very difficult to get by in this world without a cell phone. And so I'll be acceptable to that, right? I'll accept when you say I need a car because I have a 5 mile commute to work every day and I don't want to walk and it's not a good use of my time. I get all of that. But in economics, when we talk about needs and wants, what we're talking about specifically is, for needs, is this required for survival? And if not, it fits into the category of wants. So why do we have so many choices trying to fulfill our needs? Well, the short answer to that is that all of these different firms, these businesses, these corporations, these agencies are all trying to make profits and they're competing with one another. So this is a commercial, and in this commercial, we are going to see Honda present to us a want as if it were a need. Okay, and so I want you to pay attention to this and try to figure out how Honda is presenting this want as if it's a need. Okay, so what is it that Honda is doing here? Well, they are taking this want that you have, which is to have this new car, and they're projecting it to you as if it's a need, as if people who have been driving cars that don't break on their own for decades are now all of a sudden doing something wrong. And so they're going to blur those lines of needs versus wants, and they're going to use emotion to do it. That was an emotional commercial. That commercial that tells you about how great Mark is. Mark's the best man at my wedding. Just got to keep him off the dance floor. Mark's this amazing guy. He's an amazing father and husband and son and friend and worker. And without this Honda and its automatic braking, well, Mark's going to die. And that's going to be on you if you're driving the car when Mark walks out into the street right in front of you. So we have to be, as consumers, we have to be aware that these advertisers are going to try to trick us and they're going to try to make us think that something is a need when it's actually a want. Do you need automatic braking? No. In this case, automatic braking saved this guy's life. So what do we do? Well, in this case, Honda's trying to convince you that it's a need. So most of your arguments in marriage are over money, and typically they're over wants and not needs. So I don't have arguments with my wife about whether or not I paid the mortgage, because I did, because that's a need. I don't have arguments with my wife whenever my shoes are falling apart and I need to buy new ones, or things like that. The arguments that I have with my wife are probably when I'm buying something that I don't need. That makes it a selfish purchase on my behalf, right? I'm buying something selfishly that I want, or she might be doing the same thing, buying something that she wants. It's not necessarily a need. You can't argue about a need because it's something that is required for survival. So what does that mean? I don't know. You need to ask yourself, is this a need or a want? And as long as you know what it is when you're buying it, you're probably okay. And that is it for Wednesday, January 20th. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got all your notes, and I'll see you back in class on Thursday.